Hello everyone, welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well and welcome to the match preview for Wolves against Arsenal. Now this is a very hard fixture for us. We've just won 3 games out of 3. That is the good thing. But for Wolves too, they've also won 3 games out of 3. They've beaten Aston Villa, West Ham and Bournemouth. And yeah, they've only conceded 1 goal in those games, so they're actually a very good team, very good team. For me, the hardest fixture we have remaining, yes, tougher than Tottenham away, tougher than Liverpool, because these guys from midfield to defense, they're all very good, and we haven't beaten them since they were promoted back to the Premier League. So yeah, that shows you something. So in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the recent history between the two teams. Of course, they were just promoted back in 2018. The last time we had faced them before was back in 2012. So not many of us will remember those fixtures back then. So I'm going to also be taking a look at the last time we faced them and the squad we put out last time earlier this season, the last visit to Molineux Stadium, and also at the end, I'm going to be taking a look at what my lineup would be for this particular match. So let's just get into it. Now, I'm sure if 100 or 200 or 1,000 Arsenal fans are sat down and asked which team they would want to face after winning 3 games in a row, I'm pretty sure none of them will say Wolves away. So this is not the ideal fixture, but for the current form that we have, they're also in good form, but this is the best time, I guess, for us to face Wolves. I wouldn't have liked to face them 2 weeks ago after that defeat to Man City. But obviously, again, there's no good time to face Wolves. I wish we'd already finished with them, the 2 fixtures, but here we go. So for the record, between Wolves and Arsenal, we've beaten them 57 times. We've drawn 28 and we've lost 30 games against them. For the earlier fixture this season, that was back in November, 2nd of November 2019, Aubameyang opened the scoring for us. Lacazette assisted that goal for him in the 21st minute, but they peppered us for the entire game. They had 24 shots and we had 10. They would have easily won that game 4, and we were lucky. Leno was very good again in that match. Unfortunately, he'll miss out this match, but all the confidence in Martinez. Jimenez finally scored for them in the 76th minute to make it 1-1. Booze rang out, as we collected only the 2nd point from the last 9 available. Wolves repeatedly carved us open for the entire game, the whole 90 minutes. After that game, we remained 5th. How we should have been 5th right now, and Wolves moved to 11th. Remember, they started the season poorly, but that time back in November they were 11th, but right now they're fighting for the top 4 and there are many points ahead of us. So that is the turn, as in they've turned everything around. One of the many games we surrendered the leads this season. Watford, we surrendered a lead. Against Crystal Palace, we threw away another lead. Also after that, Chelsea, we threw away another lead. So that has been a weakness this season. A couple of stats from the game. Arsenal dropped points having scored the first goal in consecutive home league games for the first time since November 2004. That was against Southampton and West Brom. So we had scored first against Crystal Palace before this game and threw away the lead. And then we scored first against Wolves and threw away the lead. We've also done that against Sheffield at home. So it's many games that we've actually done that. Also Chelsea at home, as I've said. So the last time we did that or ever did that was back in November 2004 when we dropped points against Southampton and West Brom at home, having taken the lead in both games. Wolves have gone unbeaten in 3 league games against Arsenal since they were promoted. They've won 1 and we've drawn twice for the first time since a run of 3 wins against the Gunners between October 1978 and September 1979. Arsenal failed to have a shot on target in the second half. The whole second half, we never had a shot. Again, after that game, we lost again to Leicester and, of course, lost to Frankfurt, and that a couple of weeks later, Emery was sacked. This was one of the games that we struggled in. So, yeah, that was the earlier fixture this season. Let me take a look at the lineup we put out in this fixture. In goal, obviously, we had Leno. I said he helped us in this game. Would have lost 4-5-1. In the back four, we had Chambers, Socrates, Luiz, and Tierney, but Tierney was subbed off. Ozil started in the right wing, surprisingly, almost also coming to the middle. Guendouzi and Torreira were the partnership in the middle. Ceballos also started around the left side. Lacazette and Aubameyang up front. At that time, Lacazette and Aubameyang were playing as what can I call it, as split center forwards. They're not playing together in the middle as a two. One was going to the left, one was going to the right. Ozil was drifting into the middle, so a lot of complications, especially during almost the end of Emery's era. He was trying everything out. On the bench, he had Martinez, Bellerin, Kolasinac, Saka, Willock, Pepe, Martinelli. Of course, from this game, Leno is not available, Chambers is not available. I don't know about Guendouzi, whether it's going to be available or not. Ozil might not be again. Torreira might not be again. On the bench, you might have almost the same bench with Bellerin, Kolasinac, Willock. Martinelli is not going to be there. So a lot of changes from that game early on this season. So that was the lineup. Now let me get into the last time we traveled to Molineux Stadium last season. So last year, April, you all remember that we had like Leicester, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Burnley remaining, and we were talking about collecting 15 points and being the team that had the easiest fixtures amongst the top 4, top 5, top 6, but we blew it totally. And in this game, we conceded 3 goals in the first half. Ruben Neves with a free kick, Doherty with a header from a corner, Diego Jota in the 47th minute to make it 3-0. And the second half we scored a late consolation goal through Socrates, Shaka's corner in the 80th minute. Socrates at the end of it. So talk about stability. From the game this season to that game last season, just a few months, like 4, 5 months, 6 months later from last season, okay, the end of last season and the start of this season, Wolves fielded 9 same players from that game to that game last season. From the game earlier this season to the game last season, 9 same players, but we only had 5 players that started this game, that started the Emirates game this season. Iwobi wasn't there this time, Mkhitaryan wasn't there this time. Them they had Jimenez was there, Diego Jota was there, almost the same defense, almost the same midfield. So we don't have stability like Wolves. We keep on changing stuff. That was our second successive defeat. We had also lost to Crystal Palace that Sunday. Aubameyang didn't actually play that game. He was injured. Some stats from that game: Wolves ended their 20-game winless streak against Arsenal. Previously, they had drawn 4 with us and lost 16. That was their first victory against Arsenal since 1979. 40 years. Heaviest Premier League defeat against a promoted team for Arsenal since losing 2-0 against Newcastle back in May 1994. Both teams had 11 shots on that day. Last season's fixture, the Emirates, we drew 1-1. Caballero scored for them earlier on, but Mkhitaryan equalized for us in the 86th minute. We've met 13 times in the FA Cup, winning 9 times, drawing 3, losing 3, drawing 1. Also, back in 2011, we drew again with them 1-1, Javinho scoring our only goal. In the Invincible season, we played them 3 times in the League Cup and twice in the league, winning 5-1 in the League Cup, 3-0 in the league, and 3-1 away from home in the League 2. So total of 11 goals that season. Last time we played them in the FA Cup, we actually won the FA Cup. Okay, the last time we played them before playing them again when they were promoted in 2009, we had played them in the FA Cup and won that tournament. So that is the recent history between Wolves and Arsenal. Not much because they haven't been in the league for quite a long time. It wouldn't be the same like me doing a preview for West Ham against Arsenal. So many fixtures to look at, but that's the recent history. Now let me just take a look at what my lineup would be for the game coming up on Saturday. So obviously Martinez starts in goal. He was good against Norwich, a couple of good saves. He has been great. So for the 7 games he has started for Arsenal in the league, he has kept 6 clean sheets. I hope we make it 7 out of 8. I'd bring Cedric on as the right wing back, Socrates, Luiz Holding as the centre backs, and Kieran Tierney as the left back. Kieran Tierney has been amazing since the Premier League return. Cedric, a cameo that was very, very good. Bellerin has to sit on the bench for this one, unfortunately. I'd bring back Socrates, Luiz would start again, and I'd bring back Holding. Mustafi was substituted at halftime in the last game, so I don't know his situation, but that would be my back 5. In the middle, I start with Xhaka and Ceballos, and then I'll bring back Pepe and Saka to partner Aubameyang up front. Aubameyang as the striker. I don't want to have Aubameyang on the left side. I've talked about this in my last video, talking about not having Aubameyang as a left wing back against the likes of Traore. He'd have to defend for the entire game, but I want Aubameyang to be up front scoring the goal. So let's have Saka and Tierney on the left side, double up on the likes of Traore and Doherty, and maybe you could get something defensively rather than having Aubameyang there. And then bring back Pepe, who is fresh, didn't play the last game. So that would be my formation, 5-2-3. Yeah, so Saka, Pepe, and Aubameyang up front. On the bench, you can have Messi, Mustafi, Kolasinac, Bellerin, Niles, Nelson, Willock, Nketiah, and Lacazette if needed. I don't know if Ozil is going to be there. I don't know if Guendouzi is going to be there, so I won't include them on the bench. So that would be my lineup. Let me go through it again. Back five of Cedric, Socrates, Luis Holding, and Tierney, Xhaka and Ceballos, Saka, Pepe, and Aubameyang. And if we start with this lineup, hopefully we can win this game 2-1. Tottenham have managed a win against Wolves, I think, last season at their place. Chelsea beat them 5 goals this season at Molineux. I think Liverpool scraped a 1-0 victory. City lost there. United drew there, I think. Yeah, so it's not the easiest of fixtures, but I'll go for a 2-1 win just because we've won 3 games in a row. They've also won 3 games in a row, but yeah, let's just hope we get those 3 points. So that would be my prediction. Let me know in the comment section what your lineup would be, what your prediction is. And yeah, would you bring back Guendouzi and Ozil for this game? And yeah, your prediction basically, who do you think would score and who do you think will assist? Do you think we'll concede a goal or 2? So yeah, that is my preview for Wolves against Arsenal. I'll have a quiz related to this preview later on, so make sure you get the stats correct. Thanks for watching again. Keep staying safe, and I'll talk to you later.